Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nations Cup 2017. This is going to be between Brazil B and USA A, two very highly rated teams. I think there might be a slight edge to Brazil B, but we're all probably rooting for USA A. Most of the viewers of my channel and stream are probably from USA. So after this game, I think USA goes on to face. Oh, I can't remember, but it was a hard team in their division. All the teams are pretty difficult at this stage. So without further ado, let's introduce the players. We'll introduce the Brazilians first. Let's see, gray, red, teal, and green. Gray, red, teal, green. So at the flank position, we have Miguel playing as the Huns. In the pocket position, we have Fiage, one of my favorite players, playing as the Chinese. In the second pocket position, we have Stark playing as the Spanish. And in the flank, we have Dogao playing as the Persians. This is our Brazil B team. Introducing the United States team, we have Spring playing as the flank as the Huns. In purple, we have USA Rabbit. I think this is 18 Rabbit from our stream. I don't know any other Rabbits, so we've seen plenty of games with 18 Rabbit. He's playing as the Chinese. In the second pocket position, we have Matthias playing as the Spanish, also known as Melkor. And we have his brother, Timotheus, or Fëanor, playing as the Saracens. So that's pretty cool. We got 18 Rabbit here. All of these players are extremely strong. I know a lot of these players on Brazil B could be considered in Brazil A, and a lot of them have played for Brazil A at one point or another. The Nations Cup goes on, of course, every year. There's been many of these players have played on A during those years. I'm going to take some looks, see if there's any laming that's going to go on. Looks like players have decided to pause the game for some reason or another. And let me know how the settings are in the chat. If the audio quality is fine and such. So far, no blaming. However, Spring does have two very forward boars. Doesn't look like there's a scout around for Dogao, however, to lame it. Timotheus also very sorry, this is Miguel's boars very far forward, and keep getting confused. Fëanor might be able to lame these. However, looks like Miguel's here to try to stop that. A little bit of a scuffle early on. I don't know who he was fighting, but he's lost a bit of HP here on the scout already. Fiage is... okay, he's just scouting around. Pretty lucky to find those. No, actually, he's going to go forward. Where is Fiage going? Might come over here to help defend the boars, maybe? I'm a little bit confused at what Fiage is doing. He hasn't found two of his sheep, obviously. Oh, he missed the two over here. In fact, this might even be Miguel's sheep. I can't really tell. But either way, Fiage is going to come forward. Miguel's going to come forward as well. And this is very aggressive. Timotheus, no loom yet. No loom coming in. However, the scout is on reduced HP. Fiage can easily come in over here to help support Miguel. And this is a very risky situation.
Yes.
This scout would be able to kill this villager if not it had already lost some HP. And somehow, Timotheus is going to just get that boar up nice and easily. Miguel, not wanting to lose any more HP, try to block the villager. It's a little bit of a missed opportunity. Timotheus will, however, grab looms, so slow him down just a little bit, but these are really tiny things. Interesting, Timotheus actually chose Saracens here. I think these were pick civs. Why in the world would you choose Saracens? I have no clue. They're a very strong late-game civilization. However, they usually get clobbered out in an early game. So, it's a bit of an odd choice. Would I prefer them in the flank or the pocket position? I think I would rather prefer them in the pocket position. They're not great either way, but at least in the pocket position you get some of their late game going for them a little bit later on. Again, however, the Saracens don't get Cavalier, so that's a big problem for them. So let's take a look at the flank civilizations. Again, we just mentioned the Saracens. No eco bonus for them, so they'll go behind a little bit early. Their archer line's pretty decent, which makes them an okay-ish pocket. Okay-ish flank, because archers are very important as the flank. Now, the Huns are good as a flank or a pocket. However, we have the Huns as a flank here. The Huns like to go archers and then into cavalry archers, or they could do scouts. They're pretty versatile in that sense. So, very strong civilization. Over on the other side of the map, we have Dogao playing as the Persians. The Persians are an extremely strong pocket, but not a great flank. Again, it's all about the archers. So the Persians get great knights, but not so great archers. Luckily, the Persian bonus is a team bonus, so That means the flanks here will be able to get the +2 attack versus archers. Now the Persian player will have to go up against Spring. We've already talked about the Huns and why they're a little bit strong. Good economy for them. And they're going to go for the Drush early on. We'll see if Spring decides to wall his whole map and go for a fast castle, which can be a little bit risky. Or if he'll go into a feudal rush. And as you can see, all the players helping themselves, helping each other out. Looks like Matthias is going to lure some deer in for his teammate. And players right now just deciding what strategy they want to do. Pockets will be deciding whether they want to go 1 stable or 2 stable knights. And flanks deciding whether they want the Dark Age rush, feudal rush, or fast castle. Dogao, he is going for what looks to be a scout rush, playing as the Persians. He's got a forward gold here. This could be a big pain for him this game. He does have a back gold, though, and that's where he's going to go. He's going to go immediately to gold, indicating maybe an archer rush or an early bloodlines. Can't really tell. 3 militia out for Spring. They will be able to secure this gold. However, will they do any damage? And why is Spring running so close to the town center? Oh, that's going to be ugly. Going to lose a lot of HP on those militia. And that's about 30 HP already lost for Spring. So not the best play from Spring so far. Timotheus up to the next age. Miguel up to the next age. Looks like we'll see scout rushes from both players. And I can't imagine seeing anything else. Saracens get an okay scout rush, but probably not as good as the Huns. Now let's take a look at the pocket civilizations while those guys are gearing up for their aggression. Chinese, very, very good team game civilization due to their farm bonus, great versatility, good knight line, good archer line, strong unique unit late game. So you really can't go wrong with the Chinese, which is why you see them so often in team games. Now the Spanish, really good knight line. They go all the way up to Paladin. Their blacksmith upgrades are cheaper. The main reason you pick Spanish are for their trade bonus. So you really, it's a must pick on team games for the most part. And Spanish could be a little bit weaker as a flank since they don't get a great archer line. In fact, they don't even get crossbow. So this is a good positioning for them. Although I guess they would prefer the Persians in the pocket position. For the other team, we have the Chinese pocket. Again, very versatile, good knight line. And Spanish pocket, we've already talked about them. So we'll see probably the 2 pockets going knights. Again, it's just up to them if they want to do 1 stable or 2 stable, depending on the situation. Dogao's going into archers. Now, their archers, their crossbows are pretty decent. They don't get up to arbalest. This is a big mistake. How did this happen? All you had to do was wall up behind this. We could see now a villager or 2 going down, at least some idle time. And this is a big mistake from Dogao. Will he lose a villager, though? 18 Rabbit's going to come in, help support the Drush of Spring. That's a lot of units for the opposing team here. Spearmen coming out, militia down. Luckily, those militias have been weakened. And the archer might be enough to thwart this off. Looks like Stark's going to support his teammate as well. The Spearman's going to be a really good bonus against the Scouts. And looks like successful defense. Dogao has lost a little bit of resources here from the idle time. But not too bad for either player. Archer's coming out from Miguel. He's, where is he taking gold? I'm wondering how he got the gold for those guys. All 3 golds forward for Miguel, which is why Timotheus has decided to go with the 4th tower. First tower goes up straight onto this main gold tier, also threatens the secondary gold. So this is the only gold for Miguel. And so far, not looking so good. We have 2 scouts in the area, a bunch of skirmishers. Miguel's going to be forced to fight with villagers. Might be worth it to put a tower on this gold. But if Miguel doesn't defend right here, right now, he's going to have a really tough game for gold. And when you have a tough game for gold, you have a tough game overall. Fletching coming in nice and early. And yeah, this is going to be a hard defense. We have some skirmishers left over. Luckily, the scout is left over. And that'll help defend from the skirmishers. Without this scout, I don't think Miguel would have anything to defend from these skirmishers. And that's it for the scout. The scout is down. We have Phaeage's scout coming in, however. Gonna knock down the scout, and that's just barely gonna be enough for Miguel to defend. Granted, it's not like he got out unscathed. Again, he's losing time with his villagers. So Timotheus may still be ahead, despite losing some army members. Timotheus also has a weird gold position. I assume he'll try to wall it in through here. But this is such an aggressive area of the map. This is going to be a high contention this game. Just this general area. It's such a small space with so many golds packed into it. And these players are very close together as well. So we should see a lot of aggression on this side, and this is where a majority of the action should happen this game. Looks like we're going to see 2 stables from 18 Rabbit. I'm just going to be calling him that. If anyone knows any better, please correct me in the chat. Much larger army for Timotheus. Should be able to hug this hill. And so far, Timotheus having the advantage on the top here. On the bottom side, let's take a look at the score. Scores are very similar between Dogao and Spring. Farm numbers favoring Spring. So I'll prefer Spring's position over Dogao's. However, Dogao does have a little bit more score. And Spring's going to double wall, which is a smart decision. Civ advantage again to Spring. So these guys are going to play back and forth a bit. Hard for Timotheus to push in due to the tower. Hard to Miguel to push in because of this hill. We'll see once the knights come out. 2 stables for Fiage, already queuing up a ton of knights. And 2 stables from Melkor. Looks like every single player has decided to go for 2 stables. That is every single pocket. 18 Rabbit's also going to plop down a town center. So immediately, knights coming out from Melkor is going to come over to the left side. This tower is also exposed. Wouldn't take too long just to wall that in for Timotheus. I don't know why players don't put in the effort to do so. And here's the first knight from Melkor. Now, 1 knight's not going to be nearly enough to push this back. So we're going to have to see some armor upgrades. Or perhaps a siege workshop from Timotheus once he gets up. But Melkor can just start massing knights now, and by the time the siege workshop comes up, we should have a huge horde of knights. You take a look at Miguel's army composition as well. Mostly skirmishers, so not going to be doing too much against Melkor. However, Melkor doesn't have any armor yet, and neither does Fiage. Going to take the engagement here. The villagers are actually quite far from the tower, which is why you don't see Miguel garrisoning the tower. And now there's a good mix of archers here, so those archers should be able to shred through the knights without any armor upgrades on the knights. We see Stark sending some knights over on the right side. Looks like they were able to get in. This is Stark and Dogao against Spring. Spring, there's no way he's going to be able to hold off knights and archers, I think. We're going to see 18 Rabbit going to come in through the back. However, Spring is going to give up the hill. And now the armies of Spring and 18 Rabbit separated. This could be a costly engagement. Going to lose 2 knights for nothing. And that's just poor communication from the USA team. Over on the top side, pretty stalematy. It looks like Spring is up to the Castle Age, down on the bottom side, which is good for him. But USA just trying to put on a little bit of pressure onto Miguel, trying to make him not feel safe, make sure he doesn't move out with his army, do any damage. 18 Rabbit's going to be the first player, I think, to get scale barding armor. He certainly needs it since he's lost a few knights to the archers of Spring. Here is no chat. I'll check it out after the game. And it looks like the OC team just wants to try to get rid of this blacksmith. Don't overcommit to killing a blacksmith, however. It's not worth losing a few knights to. A few knights for it. Dogao going to click up to the Castle Age. So both players on the bottom clicking up. Not surprisingly at all, none of the players on the top side clicking up. That's because they have to invest so heavily into military in order to maintain their golds. They're actually going to get in through the blacksmith. No +1 armor, though, for Matthias yet. A few camels in here also. That's, I think, a poor decision from Fiage. Perhaps he couldn't afford knights. I'm not exactly sure. And Bloodlines is going to be the first upgrade for Fiage. However, it's just going to be barely enough, and the Brazil team will push back Timotheus. Timotheus pretty much here by himself. What happened to the Knights of Matthias? I don't see them on the map. Looks like Matthias has gone for a 3-town center boom. He's got a healthy economy. Look at how many farms he's got. But that's at the expense of putting pressure on here. But that might be worth it, you know? That might be worth it. We'll have to see how it shakes out. Spring, of course, was the first up to the Castle Age on the bottom side, on the bottom flank. So he's got the crossbow and he's moving out. Dogao will be at the Castle Age in just a second. Thanks to Pete. I'll try to get the chat working after the game. It's funny, it was working just a second ago, I think. So Archer's moving out. Probably not going to get any damage. They're going to hug the hill here. The thing is, the Knights can always just move away. The Archers can move away. So the units move at different speeds, so not going to get a great engagement. Unless they want to take it right here. Crossbow Boncanero coming in right now. Going to wait until that upgrade comes in. Looks like Dogao has more archers, and there's nothing wrong with the Persian crossbow. The problem is once you start to get into arbalest with the Persians. But you can't. There is no arbalest. That's the problem with them. But Persian crossbow, perfectly fine. They even get thumb ring. As we mentioned earlier, just take a moment just to wall in your towers. There's really no reason that has to happen. Look at Miguel. He's taking a second gold already, right next to... Look at how close this is. This is ridiculous, actually. The thing is, Miguel can't actually get enough saturation on his gold, so he has to take another one. He should just go on and take this one. This is so risky. So risky. And look, right as I say that, Melkor's just going to move out. If he wants, he could just take these kills and just move back. Re-wall it. So one villager down. Let's see if he gets all four. Two villagers down. No reaction from Miguel. Slow reaction. 3, and last one is going to get away, but that's 3 villager kills. And looks like Timothy is just getting another slight advantage here. However, the Brazil team is going to move in through this little hole that was made there. There are archers here, and this villager should put up just a little bit of palisade, and that'll be enough. Looks like Melkor has stepped up the production of knights. He's going to get +2 now. He should get bloodlines shortly. There it is right up there. Now remember, Melkor just held off on knight production for about maybe 5 minutes there, and it hasn't cost his team at all, and he decided to boom a little bit more heavily. Let's take a look at the villager numbers between the pockets. 72 for Fiage, and 88 for Melkor. So that decision looks to have paid off as long as as long as Timotheus can hold here. The archer range will go down in a second. We have to see a siege workshop very shortly, I think. If we don't see a siege workshop, it should be a mistake, I think. Knights, equal upgrades, a little bit more army for the Brazil team, I think. The USA team does have a defending advantage, however. And just going to be on top of this hill. Great map awareness. That hill might be enough to save them. Timotheus will have to rebuild these archery ranges, though, because he will fall behind an army. Nice micro from Miguel. We just talked about a slow reaction time, but that's very nice. You know, that could have been 2-3 archers that he saved just by patrolling the skirmisher. What's happening in the right side of the map? We haven't paid too much attention here. Siege Workshop for Spring. Could get a nasty Mangonel shot if it pops out right here. I'm going to switch over to his point of view. Hope we don't miss it. There we go. Mangonel's out. Get it out right now. Okay, too late. Dogao's going to stagger his army now. This is where the strength of the Huns comes into play. Huns very strong Castle Age civ due to their cheap cavalry archers. Certainly going to be much better than Persian crossbows. And as you can see, Dogao investing pretty heavily. Looks like just ballistics and thumb ring will be the last upgrades for him. Eventually, Dogao will have to switch into knights, and that could be a nasty transition for him. Oh, here the... What? The Mangoes came out on top of the crossbows. And went down immediately. Wow, what? That was bad. That was really bad. Why did Spring do that? It could have just came out right over here and gotten nasty shots off, but nope. Regardless, should be enough. Looks like these crossbows might actually have thumb ring. They're firing pretty fast. And Mangonel coming out in the back again for Spring. So, miss micro from Spring, definitely, with his Mangonels. However, not going to matter too much, and they're going to take a huge, huge win here. Now, what is Dogao's response? Does he keep going into archers? Yeah, it looks like that. Looks like he's going to keep going into archers. Dogao's at 74 population... Sorry, 74 villagers. Spring is at 72, so the economies are pretty similar. However, we have this huge army, and it is open. There is a hole. This army should be able to do massive damage. Let's take a look back on the top side. Both archery ranges going down, idling some farmers for Timotheus. Where is the siege workshop for Timotheus? He's rebuilt both of his archery ranges. Losing gold access. because the saturation is so poor. Timotheus' economy is just a mess. His gold is a mess. His wood is a mess. Doesn't have a lot of farmers either. Wood's a mess on the top. Looking horrible. And I think several points in this game, I've said that Timotheus has been playing better than Miguel, but looking like it's coming back to bite him. But look at this massive knights from Melkor. So maybe the counterpunch. Melkor going up to the next stage. Fiage is not quite up yet. Fiage also doesn't have quite the army that Melkor has. So in essence, Timotheus has paid the price for Melkor going into a heavier boom earlier on. Looks like Fiage might have enough to defend. Remember, the Chinese do get camels if they need it in a pinch. It's kind of interesting, these forward houses. So it might not have been worth it. It looks like Timotheus 3,200 in score. And 3,700 for Miguel. So perhaps that boom wasn't worth it. Might want to take it into account when you do that if your civilization gets if the other pocket gets camels. We'll see if Matthias can make use of this Imperial Age, though. Stark and 18 Rabbit also going up to the next age. Very strong. Significant score lead for the Brazilians, about 200 in the lead. And Siege Workshop from Miguel, that'll be a nice touch. Definitely useful when players are so close together. 2 archery ranges going down for Dogao. Dogao's falling very behind in army. He's lost his army, he's lost his archers on one occasion, lost his ranges now, so now he's going into pikemen. Pikemen not so good against cavalry archers. And Fiage is now up to the next stage. A lot of the players going up. The player in the biggest trouble right now is probably not Timotheus. He's in a lot of trouble. But the player in the most trouble is actually Dogao. Let's see if Stark can be able to defend him. So Stark and 18 Rabbit are both up. And if Spring can get up, that would be huge also. Luckily, this is a Persian town center. She'll hold out a little bit longer. Oh. They can definitely threaten knights. His economy looks pretty decent. Pretty decent. It's at 110 villagers. Damn. Dogao, 100 villagers for him. Oh, and that's so important for Dogao, getting that castle up. And stonewalling the top as well. That is huge. Okay, so maybe Dogao can hold out a little bit longer. Rely on his pockets a bit. What is happening on the top side? Looks like knights from VH coming in, archers coming in as well, but no siege to back it up. So they are going to have to retreat from under this town center. And the knights are coming in. This could be a huge, huge win for Melkor. Plate Barding Armor going to come in at precisely the right time. Once Plate Barding Armor comes in, these knights will basically be impervious to arrow fire, and there it is. And Cavalier coming in as well for a little bit extra, extra bulk. Army coming in from Fiage a little bit late. Miguel's going to lose about half of his crossbows, and Cavalier might be able to take the fight against camels. However, Matthias is going to choose not to take that fight. Or at least not without the support of his crossbows. Castle coming up forward for Timotheus. This is so exciting. We're seeing back and forth on this top side, just with the tech advantage and such. This is such an important area, though. Castle coming up from Miguel. Who's going to get the castle up first? Looks like more villagers for Timotheus. However, this castle went up a little bit sooner. Map control for Timotheus. I think this castle's not going to get up. Archer's going to move in under the castle. And they can start killing the villagers. Please focus it down, Timotheus. Cavalry just going to take this fight, I think, not to be efficient, but just to get this castle up. And now they're going to retreat under the castle. Castle is up. This castle may not get up. And with that, Timotheus has secured gold. He can continue crossbow production. What is Miguel going to do, though? Miguel has no access to gold. He's got a little bit here, okay? What is this? Just HD things? How did that camel get in there? What? What? Oh, I thought I would only see that on HD. Okay. I like Stark's move. He's building the town centers in the middle of the map for the gold. That's very important. Paladin coming in from Matthias and Stark. The game's really heating up. Scores are so close right now. This is such a close game. However, I feel like this game could still be over in an instant if someone makes the wrong move. Heavy camel done from Fiage. They're not going to want to sit under that castle. I wouldn't take this fight if I was Fiage. You need to have a little bit of siege here to back it up. Oh, there we go. There's the siege. Changed my mind. So going to work on that castle, but if this castle goes down, Timotheus really has nothing. Good for him, these archers are a bit secure, but +4 armor done on the camels. They won't be taking too much damage from the archers. Cavalier moving in! It's like a base trade on each side. Oh my god, heavy cavalry archers on the bottom. Regular cavalry archers, my bad. And this is the stage of the game where the caster has absolutely no idea what's going on. So on the top side, castle's going to go down. However, paladins are supporting here. And we all know the Chinese don't get paladins, so... Stronger army for the USA team on the top, I would like to say. On the bottom side, it's definitely a stronger army for the USA team. But just as I say that, the Brazilians have the score lead, and that's mainly due to a lot of paladins from Stark. Stark has the highest score of any player in this game. This is a huge engagement. Trebuchet here on both sides, attacking each of the castle. Castle is on the hill. Cavalry archers have not been upgraded to heavy cavalry archers, so they're not going to do anything against the paladins. The best thing they can do is take out some of these halbs. I can't tell. This is like a wash of color. I can't tell who's going to win this one. However, castle should go down for spring. And I'm not even going to predict this. Let's just wait and see. Looks like might be enough paladins from Stark. Oh my gosh. More paladins coming on the back. Let's check the left side. Looks like both armies taking themselves out, but Timotheus might go down. More paladins coming in from Matthias. And this is going to be enough to defend. Okay, can they take out the trebuchets before the castle goes down? There's 3 trebuchets here. Trebuchet's going to get packed up. You could just delete the farm and try to wall it in. Maybe delete the town center too. Alright, so nice hold from USA team. Elite Chuku Nu coming in for 18 Rabbit though. All the upgrades coming in for those guys. Meanwhile, FH is stuck on Cavalier, I believe. He's upgraded Bombard Tower though. Now, as the Chinese, you don't want to stay on the Heavy Camel too long. I mean, Paladins are just a superior unit. Overall, and they can match heavy camels. So FH is going to be wanting to do his transition as well. Although he's invested a lot of resources in camel and even Bombard Towers, very expensive upgrade. So those Chuku definitely going to be a very strong asset. Notice none of these civilizations have siege onager except for the Saracens for the USA team. Normally you have a Mongols in a 4v4. Partially due to that siege onager upgrade. So these Chuku will be extremely strong without a siege onager on the field. And yeah, it's definitely going to be the strongest unique unit of any of these civilizations. Not including the Mameluke, which we probably won't see. Miguel's up to the next age. That leaves the only player not up to the next age is going to be Timotheus. He's a large reason why his team is down in score. Brazil taking a 1,000 point score lead. Our game's not over. It doesn't look like it's a 1,000 point score lead. Slowly, USA is either holding or pushing on the bottom side. However, on the top side, it's pretty clear that Timotheus is collapsing. His economy doesn't look so good. Doesn't have a lot of army on the field. Crossbow's really not going to do anything at this stage of the game. So it's just up to Timotheus has to reboom, rely on some excellent play from Matthias. And I really don't know how, I don't know how Matthias gets back into this game because he also doesn't have gold. So he's going to have to establish a trade line, which is going to take a long time. I really like the Chuku from the USA team, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Especially with Timotheus collapsing so fast on the flank. And just a large reason of that, again, is just due to gold access. Miguel has the gold access. Timotheus has very little gold access. Luckily, Saracens, he can sell a little bit, but it's not going to get him very far. So here's that excellent play from Matthias that we need. He can't push into the Bombard Towers, though. And the Bombard Towers are just creeping forward. Eventually, FH might switch into Chuku himself as well. Although he's spending a lot of stone on Bombard Towers, so probably not. And honestly, he probably doesn't need to. I'm just waiting for some sort of upgrades from Spring. He can't afford the heavy cavalry archer. That would be such a nice upgrade. And I'm gonna take some of that stone here. So now Dogal's gonna push on the bottom side. It's a very bad sign when one team is pushing on both sides. If one team is pushing on one side and another team's pushing on the other side, usually say the game's even. But when one team's pushing on both sides, it's a really hard team for the team that's defending. It's a really hard game for the team that's defending. Bombard towers coming up from the Spanish. They do have superior bombard towers to the Chinese. And I think we're coming in towards the end of the game. Look at map control. In the middle of the map, we have a lot of town centers from Fiege. Some town centers from Stark. They're going to get those extra golds, which will give them a little bit of extra longevity. A little extra strength. And heavy cavalry archers already done for Miguel. So Miguel's starting to really become a force now. He's starting to mass up these cavalry archers. Is Spring really forced? I really can't say. He's lacking upgrades that he really needs. And certainly lacking siege. Also, we should see siege ram come out. But again, just the strength of Chuckanu. The Chuckanu are so damn strong. I mean, honestly, an archer with 8+6 attack, that's kind of ridiculous. And can fire 4 arrows. Normally they're countered by onagers, but again, no onagers on the field. So Matthias is definitely trying to do his best. He's pulling out all the stops for the Spanish. Lots of gunpowder for him. And the Paladin, of course. You really can see the strength of the Spanish in a team game in this particular game. And pretty soon we should be seeing a transition from Dogao. Dogao might want to establish a bit of trade before he probably transitions into Paladin. Or War Elephant. He could go straight to War Elephant. And this might be the killing blow. Captrams coming out for Dogao. We're seeing Onager done from Dogao as well. And that's certainly worth it. And without the another castle for 18 Rabbit, again, it'll stifle his Chuckanu for his production. So looking pretty bad for the USA team. Despite an overall close game. Alright, Seatram's going to go back for now. We're not going to see the final push quite yet. Oh, this is bad. A little bit of a raid from Stark. It doesn't look like it got too much. It looks like it was mostly Paladin raid. Paladin raids don't tend to be too great against trade. And now with the onagers on the field, that's going to heavily neutralize 18 Rabbit's army. On the top, looks like Brazil pushing in as well. We have siege rams now done. As we said, Miguel's become an absolute beast now. Fiege should really transition to something stronger than Halberdier. Might be lacking a bit of gold. I don't see a lot of trade cards from Fiege. Forget we have the spectator dashboard every time. See, trade should be on here somewhere. Slow death on the top. Slow death on the bottom. Spring's base is gradually getting gutted out. Timotheus' base has been gutted out. Let's check his economy. Timotheus now at 117 villagers. Going into Mamelukes. This is why you don't pick Saracens, because their early game weakness often lends itself to this happening. But if they get to the stage where they can afford elite Mameluke, here we go, and mass them up, I mean, Huns really have no counter to that, and we don't have Chuckanu out to counter the Mameluke, so if this castle can stay up, maybe they have a chance there. But that said, they're still going to have to hold on the bottom. The Chuckanu, of course, wants to run away from the onagers. So nothing you could do there. Heavy cavalry archer done for Spring. Alright, let's see those, what, 8 Mameluke go to work. Castle's gonna go down, unfortunately, though. And that leaves Timotheus with, I think, 1 castle remaining. And these guys are missing Zealotry as well, the 30 extra HP. Yeah, there's 1 castle back here. Castle gonna go down for 18 Rabbit. This is the second one he's lost. That'll put him down to 2 castles, which is not nearly enough to make Chukunu. At least at the stage of the game. Siege Ram coming in from Stark as well. Another big upgrade. We'd like to see a little more onagers from Dogao. They're stuck here at the back. And those Mamelukes gonna do the best they can. This is the last hill. If you lose this hill, there really is no coming back. I mean, I suppose this is the last hill you have to lose, but it's not really defended. And castle coming up from Miguel, so that's pretty much guaranteed this hill's gonna be lost. The 1 hour spearman coming in. Must have been from earlier in the game. There's no reason you build the spearman at this stage. Oh my god, the castle getting destroyed. Is this the hope they need? Just pushing back just a little bit. Gotta keep those Mamelukes alive. They now have full upgrades when Blast Furnace comes in. Bombard Tower is gonna take so long to destroy them. And same thing on the bottom side. This is it. If Spring loses his base here, there's no coming back from it. Spring is at 75 villagers. You could argue he's even worse positioned than Timotheus. Now maybe this game would be a bit different on top if we had like 40 Mamelukes here, but we have like 10, and they keep getting whittled down. Oh, thank you for the cheer, Frank. I was wondering what that sound was. I've never gotten that sound before. I really have no idea how that works, but I know it translates to money somehow, so thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Heavy Scorpion from Fiage, nice! I want to see those. Who doesn't want to see those? So, Fiage is doing everything that the Chinese have except for Chukunu. This is kind of entertaining to watch. Yeah, I love to see Heavy Scorpions. Scorpions is such an, I don't want to say underused unit, but they're so fun to watch. Nice mechanic. Yeah, Bomber Tower's gonna go down. That's gonna be it on the top side. Nothing else I can say as a caster. Chukunu gonna get annihilated. And at the stage, I think USA should throw in the towel. Definitely. Oh, here we go. Fiage is thinking about a Chukunu transition. Thinking about it. He's got 3 castles too. Although I don't know where they are. 1. I just see 1 on the front lines. Oh, no, sorry, my bad. Rocketry is actually for the Scorpions. They get +4 attack, I think. Should see a few more onagers from Dogao. I mean, those really are the best counter. I mean, they're good counter to heavy cavalry archers too. Perhaps in the future when choosing civilization, this isn't like a super serious round. I mean, it's pretty serious, but I think Brazil B has a little bit of an advantage here. So I don't think, I think a Mongols would definitely be better than a Persians here due to that siege later in the game. Might want to consider that for future civ picks. Getting hoardings and masonry as your castle is under attack, not ideal. Well, there's that massive Mamelukes. That's, what? 20 Mamelukes? 15 Mamelukes? And they are going to town. What is going on here? What? Oh my god, and they're gonna wreck these cavalry archers. And if we see a comeback now, I'm gonna be utterly amazed. Alright, I think this... How many castles does 18 Rabbit have? He's lost like 3 castles. He's got 2 remaining. Luckily, he's done a good job keeping his Chukunu alive. Please don't lose them as I say that. Please don't lose them as I say that. Oh, could have been a big shot. But both castles under fire. If 18 Rabbit loses both castles. There's nothing to stop that. There's nothing for him to make. 18 Rabbit's going to run in for the economy, I think. Maybe the trade. It looks like USA has not noticed this. And at least another castle is going to go down for Dogao, leaving 18 Rabbit with a measly 1 castle for Chukunu production. On the top side, Hill has been lost, despite the strength of the Mamluk. Oh my god, it's an hour and 5-minute handcart. Dear god. As if you needed, you know, didn't need an economy for Saracens. GG. USA is going to give it up here. Very close game for the majority of it. Last half hour, not so close. But very good effort from USA. I think we're in for some close games going forward into the series. So if you did enjoy this game, please like, comment, and subscribe. And you can click on the next video in this series right on the screen here. And I'll see you in the next video.